Okay, I should be live on more than one platform, on several platforms, more than I can count at this point. Just getting Blog Talk ready.
Start your show now. Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that should be Blog Talk on the go. So for those of you that can hear, this is the 12/12/2024 144K Mass Meditation, hosted and guided by your loving servant, the Unknown Light Warrior. And we are waiting for the usual and standard thumbs up for all protocols. And yeah, bit of a juggling act with, I think we've got 7 platforms, 7 individual platforms that we're going to be consolidating, but that's a technical infrastructure issue for another day. So all you veterans know that the Dark Ones don't just ritualize, but they fire off technologies. They've certainly been firing frequency weapons for the bird flu. And, of course, I know at least probably half of you in the Northern Hemisphere probably have a runny nose or a stuffy head, stuffy sinuses. And yes, it's them. It's not just some natural, so-called natural seasonal thing. It's all them. Again, this is why we do what we do. Because someone needs to stop them. So they ritualize on full moons and new moons, as every veteran will know, but they also ritualize on master numbers, such as 11, 11, 12, 12, 8, 8, Lionsgate, obviously. And for those of you who probably tried to go to the YouTube upload of yesterday's rather dramatic, highly interesting intel drop, some of you towards the end of the day would have seen that the video has been removed by YouTube. Again, that's how you know you're on the money. And they were upset. The usual cloak and dagger games. And again, that just comes with the territory of not just planetary liberation, but freeing and this is an accurate kind of description in the archetypal sense, rescuing the archetypal goddess in distress held in the citadel of the capital of darkness. Again, if you're new, becoming aware that this planet was and has been for a long time the capital city of all darkness throughout the universe might sound a little bit of a stretch and kind of grandiose. Well, it is grandiose, but it's also accurate. So let's focus in on what is being asked of us as a collective, but what is being asked of you as it relates to your particular, very specific purpose, but also task. The very interventionist at the right time, at the right place, preordained move. That you're going to receive the signal on, you'll be supported, connected, protected, to make that critical, game-changing move. That will swing things in a certain dramatic direction. As you begin to take that slow, deep breath, through your nose, and you get into that meditative state as always, that effectively begins the mass meditation. Because you as a starseed, being part of this coordinated, organized effort, you also access a higher level of authority to make an even bigger move, an impactful, world-changing move at the right time. That's why we take the time to work with extreme high levels of authority. And really bring yourself into the now. And tune in to the present moment. As we will be making some dramatic moves for dramatic upgraded timelines. Now start to feel and therefore become aware of that sense of unity with all active participating members. That's right, you're no longer feeling alone. So let's quickly get to that high up place of extreme power and authority that synergizes with our unity and focused, galvanized, concentrated consciousness for change, to realize our dreams. See yourself in a gigantic crystal ball. Always remember, everything you quote unquote imagine is real when projecting your consciousness from this physical plane to pretty much anything else, everywhere else, especially the non-physical, for your actualized godlike powers. The old 144K cardinal rule, pretty much. Look all around and see the beautiful, translucent silver walls of the crystal ball. See all the non-physical bodies of all fellow 144K members dotted evenly near the equator of the inside of this crystal ball. And always remember, the vision is instantly there just as you set your intent or follow my guidance. No effort required whatsoever. You can do it. Go ahead and call in your guides if you consciously work with them. Now let's call in Gaia, authentic Gaia. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia. Please be here with us. Lovely. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up with us to beyond the multiverse? Cradled in our arms, along with the rest of humanity. See her in the middle. And now we start to move up through the layers of this universe. With that familiar, therapeutic, calming, centering, light flashing or flickering of light on the walls, through the walls of the crystal ball, return as we race up towards the boundary of this universe as you adore and admire Gaia in the center. Enjoy the ride, look all around you to all the other 144K members over to your left and right, evenly spaced. Standing with pride and resoluteness in spite of everything. When the going gets tough, the tough don't flinch. As you hold 60% of your visual focus on Gaia in the middle. Truly and literally a birthing planet. Put a little bit of attention on your guides and then back onto the primary vision of Gaia and that soft flickering of light through the walls of the crystal ball in the background. As we're about to break through, look all around, enjoy the stunning panoramic view. And then all of a sudden, everything goes bright white. You can barely see Gaia in the middle as we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe. And we're through. And we rise above a big ball of light that is this universe that we just left. And we rise above a whole ocean of other universes in this neighborhood of the multiverse. And that all turns into its own big ball of light as we rise above the multiverses. A whole ocean of multiverses. And all of that turns into a small, kind of hazy ball of light. And it disappears. Look up at Gaia and all around you. Feel a profound sense of stillness. That's no pun intended, out of this world. Put a little bit of glance on your guides if you have them while I go through the standard protocols. Authentic hard. I call upon the one true authentic hard. Please make sure we go to you and no one else true hard. Look up above Gaia, up through the roof of the crystal ball. You see a point of white light appear, getting bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter. And now the roof of the crystal ball is all lit up as we're still approaching it. And we finally reach it. We come to a sudden yet somehow gentle stop, and we slowly, gently move through this platform of light, a very special realm. As it envelops the crystal ball all around us, and as we rise above, it closes at the bottom, opens up at the top. Gaia in the middle. And we nestle on top of this platform of light. We now form a straight line behind and above Gaia. The crystal ball pulls evenly from the top center, nice and slowly, because there's no rush in the place of no time. That's how we're able to get so much done. And boy, there was a lot to get done. As the crystal ball peels evenly, slowly downwards, so that this mass influx of super high frequency light doesn't overwhelm. Although understandably, many of us Starseeds, especially newly active ones, may not even have a reference point or a way of registering such super high frequencies of light. So it's totally fine if you're yawning away already. If this is the first time. And for anyone who don't consider themselves much of an energy worker, just trust in the natural, instantaneous nature of being able to see whatever your intent is set on. And engage through the highest form of consciousness, this mischievous matrix calls imagination, to engage the right hemisphere of your brain to be able to utilize is perfectly scientific, let alone real, non-linear nature. And if you're feeling even extra stillness, it's because we are in a place of no time. Let alone at a little known, super high frequency place. Kind of like a secretive realm. Now look up and see and connect with these pretty translucent light beams that oversee universes and multiverses. And we're just going to spend a minute, especially for you, feeling their energies, their unique energy signature, to get and have your own connection with these light beings. Needless to say, they are way beyond duality. And using their help is fundamental to getting all of us out of duality. Feel what they feel like for a minute and take advantage of their auric clearing abilities just by being up here. Remember to breathe deeply and openly and evenly through your nose. Let go. Don't try. Just maintain attention on them by looking inward. Authentic God, can you please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable physical level? And sort of feel with your whole body, but pay a little extra, or have a little extra consciousness on the thalamus area of your head, center of your head, basically, where a lot of our higher senses are. Authentic God, can we please feel you in the heart? Send us a massive wave of your energy to our hearts, activating our infinite depths within our hearts for more power. And have a little bit of background attention or background consciousness on your chest or solar plexus. can kind of feel with your whole body as well. Remember to breathe deeply and slowly. So for anyone who's new, this is kind of like the equivalent of Luke Skywalker hearing Obi-Wan Kenobi's soft, subtle voice saying, just use the Force. Luke, let go of that aiming technology, which was a very brave thing to do. And Darth Vader just couldn't get a lock on him in that climactic moment of blowing up the Death Star. Shift your attention back. These managers, multiverses, and now look at Gaia. And now back on your guys if you have them. While I quickly call in the rest of the teams and take us to omnipresence. I call upon the infinite army, the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. Okay. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. I call upon Oberon himself, the team of beings that created this universe and the unique physicality, as the final strategy to corralling dark back to the light. He presents himself as one man. A giant golden being of light. Place him in whatever peripheral of this panoramic view that you want. Now repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my soul and see what looks like a star just up above the hood. because your soul is basically where the necessary authority comes from for activation of things like your DNA, higher sensory awareness, coming more into your being. Repeat after me. I call upon my authentic oversoul. That's sometimes described as a larger version of your higher self. See it as a bigger ball of light in a violet color, perhaps, to differentiate between it and the white light of your soul. And lastly, repeat after me. I call upon my authentic I am. And see an even bigger ball of light back to white, perhaps, behind your oversoul. Up above, but well within your field of vision. Authentic Legion of Light, we are the 144K. Adding that critical missing physical piece to this multi-dimensional puzzle, so that everything clicks in place. And there is Gaia. Please take us to the space and place of omnipresence. Take that brief glance down at Gaia. And everything goes bright, very white. You have to squint your eyes as we are being transported to omnipresence. And we're there. The bright white light disappears. Everything looks the same. Authentic Legion of Light. It is 12. 2024. We have the full moon. Mass intervention from the physical here. In only 3 days' time. And the always big December solstice, mass intervention. 6 days after that. We request a plan to really and truly knock it out of the park, so to speak. Over these next 3 global meditations. To actualize such a profound shift and massive timeline jumps and so much more. To save lives, to radically accelerate our return to Galactic Society, reintegration, with the cosmos that we've been cut off from. In a way that keeps us and humanity safe. Okay, now spend a minute all together, visualizing the final and completed discovery and shutdown of all dark technologies, both exotic and deeply hidden and magic-like technologies, of a pre-ancient off-world nature, and also the more conventional technologies being used upon us in real time. Because I know some of you sensitives know that there's still some around, and it is important that they're all cleared by the 31st of December, but we always set the bar high to save lives, among other things, and upgrade the timeline systematically. We're going for it now, or at least have it wrapped up by the 21st, because these technologies are pretty much all that they have left. Clearly, black magic rituals is nothing more than an annoyance at this point. Okay, let's put Gaia in the quarantine sphere, in whatever color of your choosing. We surround Gaia. The teams surround us. And allow yourself to go deep. Engage the right hemisphere of your brain. And at the same time, look up at your soul. At a minimum, tune into it through the solar plexus or heart. Your oversoul, I am, and command. Repeat after me. From the space of omnipresence, throughout all densities and planes, and down to the subquantum ocean. Of this planet, especially the surface. locate and clear all hidden, dormant, inactive and active technologies, both terrestrial and non-terrestrial, and quarantine them. Now pick your holographic vision, omnipresent holographic vision of Gaia in the form of a single holographic color that represents an omnipresent view of Gaia. And the moment you do that, certainly for most of you, you will see from far away, it'll typically look like dark specks or dark grey smokiness in some parts of Gaia. And for about 10 minutes, we're going to go through a systematic process using that protocol of transmuting, turning anything dark into white, disappearing it in a matter of seconds, and then keep on going through that process for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to be quiet for almost as long, but take that occasional glance up at your soul and feel it through your heart or solar plexus at the same time as you're doing this transmutation. This is why that relaxed and non-trying, non-linear focus is so important, because that's how you do it. So let's just focus on this for roughly 10 minutes to really get down to the bottom of this and clear technologies. Now, a lot of these technologies, some are kind of conventional on the surface. Others are, they might look like portals. Others look like cubes. And they look, as Arthur C. Clarke would say, indistinguishable from magic in terms of the hidden ones that are millions of years old, hundreds of millions of years old, even into the billions. Because the dark ones would travel to any time space and stick something there as an insurance policy. Don't try to understand it or work it out. Don't get lost in the details. If it's dark, grey or black, transmute the effing thing. Watch it disappear. And then move on to the next one. And in that relaxed, non-trying, meditative state, do that systematically. And again, if you can't hold at least two of the teams and your IM within a single frame, visual frame, then take that occasional glance at them if you can only visually focus on one thing at a time. So be aware there is absolutely nothing that can escape or hide from this coordinated, omnipresent sort of protocol, for lack of a better way of describing this method. Okay. Tune into your soul through a simple intent, that brief, subtle feeling in your heart or solar plexus as you watch. And Ironically, working in tandem with your connecting consciousness, play with your I am doing the work through you, through your oversoul and soul and energy system here on the critical, game-changing physical plane. Now I'm going to be quiet for a little under 10 minutes. Just use that protocol, go with it, and open up your consciousness to a high level of consciousness by kind of exploring. Just remember to hold your white, natural light of your soul, oversoul and I am. That white light on that dark thing. Hold that focus as it goes white and it transmutes, and barely 5 seconds later, it disappears. Vanquish. Freeing. Literally freeing all of us and humanity from these metaphoric chains. Go with the flow. Go beyond your current level of consciousness, past the boundaries of the known, to see more. The hidden stuff, ironically without an ounce of trying. Go deep with this. Okay, just maintain that open vision to include at least 2 or 3 of the teams. And your I am opposite. We just need to do this brief clearing to move in for that kill shot, for lack of a better term. So spend another, at the most, 5 minutes systematically removing things your soul and I am already knows. It's more about receiving the image. Okay. Now, I'm going to give a bit of simple steps and instructions. And this is where you really allow your higher aspects to just come through you, especially the right hemisphere of your brain, simply by doing, not thinking. Doing, not, how can I put it? Yeah, do, don't think. And it just comes. It's, as always, 3D verbalization is extremely limiting, so you have to tune in to the essence of what I'm communicating. Do, don't think, and trust. Hover over Manhattan Island. See Manhattan Island underneath you. Perhaps in a translucent, indigo, holographic overall background where the shorelines are noticeable in a pale white or whatever outline. Now zoom in to Times Square. Simply through intent, because all your higher aspects and the teams know exactly where it is, so you just have to go there. Allow, simply through intent. Be on the ground of Times Square. In whatever way your soul presents it to you. For me, and only for me, not necessarily for you, it's all a holographic indigo background kind of vision. You don't have to see things physically with people walking around. You can if you want to. It's how your energy system is built. You don't have to be standing on the ground level per se. It's more about your consciousness. You can be a bit above the level of the street or a bit below. God knows there's a ton of stuff below. Repeat after me. Authentic soul, oversoul, and I am. Authentic heart and legion of light. Present to me the 1212 mechanism that unlocks and actualizes freedom and full return to the light. Full return to the cosmos. And Galactic Society. Now, see beneath, in the middle of Times Square. You don't have to see it perfectly. Faint seems to be more accurate in terms of faint imagery. So just throw caution to the wind and allow your soul to come through you, your true identity to come through you. And see what may be presented to you and your soul and its unique purpose, a shifting, constantly transitioning kind of sacred geometry is the best way I can describe it. It's a technology, it's a mechanism. It is 11 past 12 in Times Square. Okay, let's get rid of that dark sphere. If you see anything dark, transmute it instantaneously into white light. Feel your I am come through you. Play with that limitless attitude of a child. It's what's going to set you free in this moment of world history. Draw a pillar of light from the core of Gaia, as I have just done, through Times Square, connecting to what looks like a sphere. It's now golden. You may see other things. If you do see other things, that's your soul's unique purpose. Carry it out. You don't necessarily have to follow my guidance to the letter. Look up at your soul and ask it, show me what to do. And then let your so-called imagination rip. Let it go wild, detached, as if you don't care. Okay, some sort of mechanism, a natural one, is being transmuted and transfigured to realignment with the light. And out she comes. It looks like a woman, a goddess, rising up. It's okay if you don't see that, because we all have our specific, unique, soul-based, pre-assigned task. You've got your own piece of the puzzle. Okay, something very holy and goddess is getting released. Worry about the details later, just complete the process. We're sort of reprogramming the sacred geometry there to full alignment with the divine light, with the divine, with source, ultimately. Anything dark, make sure you transmute it. Look up at your I am up above, what would look like the sky, but again, it's all, whatever dark toned color, background color. And look up at it and say, release us from false time now. Okay, there's a bit of off-gassing, as it's sometimes called. Make sure you transmute whatever garbage comes up. Remember, this is magic-like technologies. And you don't have to see things perfectly. Faint images do just fine. Actually, they tend to be the accurate ones. When you're remote viewing, go beyond your current level of consciousness. That's where freedom lies. Now, it's a bit of a multi-density kind of action, so you'll see, there's more than one thing going on at the same time, so run with that through the use of the right hemisphere of your brain, known as imagination. Not. All right. All right. Now, that original pillar of light from the core of Gaia, see a magenta pillar of light within it come up through the core of Gaia and up into what looks like a whole, I'm going to use the word tapestry, is the best word I have for you, of sacred geometry structures, multi-layer sacred geometry structures within Times Square, mostly below street level, it seems. And see this magenta representing source itself, just going into this tapestry, multi-layer tapestry of sacred geometry, and within the middle of that is a golden sphere. So you get this pillar go into the golden sphere, into the heart of the golden sphere, and just say, connect. And there seems to be a Merkaba, that magenta Merkaba, that all of a sudden appeared within this golden sphere. It's okay if you did not see that and saw something else instead. That's your sole purpose. Run with it. Okay, seems to be a golden explosion of gold light. As far as I can make out, you may say something different. Now spread what appears to be golden light, but also some magenta components or lines to it. Spread it, zoom out basically, and spread it throughout Manhattan Island. There's a reason why Times Square and Manhattan Island was such a nerve center and hub of such a thriving, dynamic financial and corporate hub, one of the corporate and financial focal points of the surface civilization of this world. And just spreads now. Yeah, you may see grid lines, various grid lines, not just the ley lines, light up into golden light. And or magenta with a, well, goddess is sort of all over the place. So the magenta will be sort of just spreading outwards like an expanding sphere, for lack of a better term. And outwards she goes, spread it outwards, reaching Connecticut, eventually onto Massachusetts, Boston, and through to Baltimore. Well, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC, the peak. And time with this spectacle, treat it like a spectacle, like an awesome frigging show. It arguably is that. And spread it outwards. Again, my personal suggestion is see, or there's a, that translucent indigo kind of background color. But again, all of our unique purposes are typically different, which means your energy system is built differently to support that. So you may see things differently. And use my guidance as a rough guide if you need it. Let your brilliance shine. My job is to make sure you do that. Lifting humanity out of the depths of I'll just use the extreme euphemism of unpleasantness and contrast. And just play with expanding it out. There's mass tectonic ripples of literal shift. Okay, interesting. This seems to be a multi-layered, or should I say multi-spherical golden ball globe, moving out through and past the Chesapeake Bay into Delaware, obviously, and take your time. Enjoy the spectacle, because this is a major, massive acclamation and accretion of light for Gaia, the grids, and humanity. So ask your I am to clear dark technologies as this golden globe, for the most part, continues to spread. Nothing escapes. No dark technology, no matter how magic-like and off-world and hidden it is, or inactive and dormant it is, it's discovered by this expanding, multi-layered golden globe. There's a lot of light coming in from the core of Gaia, because core of Gaia is sort of, what's the word? Almost acting like a tuning fork to this expanding golden globe. There you go, let's move it out. Reaching the Carolinas, well into the Atlantic. Out that beam of a very thin beam of the original white light from the core of Gaia. Also clearing quantum and subquantum anomaly naturally by default as we expand. Really enjoy the spectacle as you put in, just by participating and seeing this, you put in your own unique soul codes. That were needed uniquely from you, which is why you're here. And expand it out. Clearing dark technologies, and no matter how hidden they are or exotic, magic like they are, let alone the more conventional DARPA CIA crap, beaming us these frequencies and giving us these head code flu garbage, shutting it down, hold that in, take no prisoners, so to speak, because that's the 144K way. Okay, now there's going to be a handful of you that are true blue stereotypical goddesses that may or may not be seeing much. If you're that category, just see yourself in the core of Gaia, at the core of Gaia, just outside it, side view, and just move goddess light through that internal or thinner magenta pillar running through the middle of that slightly broader white pillar of light that we brought up originally from the core. Just push it up into Times Square. And that'll be of great service. Anyone else, just expand and see, if you haven't already, just, dramatic ripples of brittle breaking up, clearing, dissolving, kind of, I don't know, hard to verbalize, flash, whiteness, breaking up along the boundary, primarily more on the surface and Earth's crust, on the boundary or just beyond the boundary of the expanding golden globe. Let's just keep it simple. Remember, all that is, especially physical dense matter, most of you will know it's 99% empty space. Keep that in mind. We think we're moving through solid physical and non-physical kind of a Earth's crust. It's mostly empty space that rearranges the codes that create and dictate the behavior of quantum waveform particles that then form our so-called physical reality. That's what we're changing, literally changing the matrix. Back to the organically designed divine matrix. The matrix is anything with four sides to it that create something in the middle. That's it. Expand it out. Take that occasional glance up at your soul over soul I am, and slowly expand it out, reaching Florida and obviously the Midwest. And again, as it expands out, just beyond the outer boundary of this golden sphere, all the ley lines and whatnot light up, in advance of the expanding boundary of the golden globe. We're literally re-altering back to the divine, organic way, realignment with the divine reality. I'll use the term divine version of time. I think it's been referred to as crystalline time in the past. I'm not sure. There's like a divine version of everything. We're just bringing it back. Clearing everything. Nothing escapes this golden, multi-layered, extremely divine, multi-layered, geometric, purpose, programmed, and driven golden globe. Multi-layered. The outer boundary and structural aspects is golden color, which is associated with divine masculine, which makes sense. That's the outer boundaries. All right, let's head into the Caribbean. We're going to start speeding it up. This is quite an acclamation for this world, so you can't rush it. Technologies keep on visualizing in order to visualize to actualize. Technologies removed. Again, the more exotic ones that are as much as of years old And they may look very simple shapes, very simple like cubes or spheres, and that seems to be all to it. Obviously, they change shape into whatever they want. So, whatever it is that your I am overall soul presents it to you as, for the sake of your left hand points to be able to understand it, just make sure it disappears. It always disappears before the ever expanding outer golden boundary sphere. Clearing, adding, freeing. What are basically any remaining underpinnings of garbage that went way out of hand. Okay, let's expand it out towards easily the Rockies. Well into the Atlantic, towards the northern shoreline of Latin America. Some of you may see various kinds of light beings kind of free basically within the golden sphere. And so, okay, if you didn't see that, see the cleansing and technologies, quantum and subquantum anomaly within the golden sphere. With, I guess, most of the action being within the surface and the crust. Very dark, cemented, brittle energies imprinted into the quantum field at a lot more than just one density, broken up. Receive the image that's already being shown to you instantaneously. Okay. All right, what we need to do is zoom out so you're able to see all of Gaia. Again, in this context of dark, single color hologram more than does the job. And look over to at least 2 of the height on your IM minimum. Over on the other side. And just say to them, clear all resistance to this expanding golden ball of light. Because at this point, it's kind of like wading through mud. Simply through intent. Again, change background colors as needed to be able to differentiate dark and light. And see the resistance, receive the image of any resistance of any form, kind, or type. That's throughout mostly first, second, third, and fourth density of the physical plane, primarily. Of course, unsurprisingly, it may simply look like, just in terms of how it's being presented to your left hemisphere mind, as thick black smoke. With the golden globe barely visible. And if you haven't already, turn it white, transmute it, watch it disappear. Good. Good. And now see the golden globe that's now visible. And let's expand it out. We can expand it out quicker. And see white grid lines lighting up and shooting in all sorts of direction, just beyond the ever-expanding outer boundary or perimeter of the golden globe. She's lighting up in advance of the expansion of the golden globe. So that's sacred geometric portal of sorts in the middle or just below Times Square was, an access point in time and space that we had to hit. And outwards we go, reaching into the Amazon forest, the other side of reaching the west coast. See the view of the west coast ley lines being lit up well in advance of this expanding multi-nested spherical golden globe. Past the west coast and reaching into the northwestern coastline of Africa, lighting Sahara, North Africa, lighting it up. Reaching Spain, light it up with that loose background intent of full return, realignment to the divine. It's all about realignment of all aspects, densities, and levels that make up this world. Because the funny thing about time is that it's actually the same thing as distance. Where you have distance, you have time. As always, the problem was that it was partitioned or separated from omnipresence, which is more of our natural state kind of thing. Difficult to explain. That's for another day. So there is an element, a sacred divine element of reconnecting, altering matrix codes, among other things, reconnecting space and distance between spaces and reintegrating it with omnipresence. To sort of experience in a natural way the best of both worlds without being entrapped and therefore traumatized in one of them, namely distance and separate spaces. So now for the first time, the 144K makes its mark on key fundamentals required for freedom. among other things, to say the least. All right, see the Golden Globe moving into France, the UK, intensely lighting things up, transmuting just beyond its boundaries, or on the outside of its boundaries, transmuting, again, seemingly everything. Again, it's like the Russian doll thing, as I mentioned. At least 3 or 4 nested golden spheres within the larger outer golden sphere, each with their own purpose. Observe, be the silent, pervasive, godlike witness. Moving into Switzerland, Germany, Scandinavia, good old friends there in northern Italy and the Vatican. And moving into across North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, and of course into the Middle East. Eastern Europe, Turkey. Enjoy the show. See what you see. Because this expanding multi-layered golden globe is already programmed with the right divine intent. Okay, we're approaching Lebanon and Israel. Get ready. And see the grids throughout Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Syria, the goddess pentagram and respective goddess vortex in predominantly northern and central Syria light up big time in advance of the expanding ball of light, and inwards they go, moving into Iraq,
90 seconds.
lighting up, well in advance, altering the matrix, its underpinnings, transmuting entities, technologies, no matter how dormant or inactive they may be.
Seconds.
And one of the inner spheres of the of the nested golden globes is finding and clearing what you Corey Good fans will know as temporal bubbles. Where you can stick a whole city in one of these bubbles. the size of a car, as small as a basketball, hidden deep within the murkiness, or was
10 seconds.
hidden deep within the murkiness of the quantum subquantum anomaly, primarily around the surface. It's nice to be clearing the garbage. Okay, let's move into Western India. So now much of the planet is really lit up in amongst that dark indigo background surface color, where all the grid lines, ley lines, blah, 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 natural vortexes are lit up already just from the presence of this expanding golden globe. We're really bringing a ton back online, realigned to the divine. Otherwise, there is no freedom. You may see little pockets of dark stuff in whatever shape, sort of being pushed up and out kind of thing, because it's just too much light. Deep within the murkiness of the subquantum and quantum level of the first, second, third, fourth densities. The fifth seems fine. Clearing crap. Very much the chains around our ankles and wrists for God knows how long. I don't want to think about how long. Clear it for a massive, profound, game-changing, dramatic timeline upgrade. They are nothing without their technologies, conventional or magic-like. And no head colds. Diarrhea explosions. That's all weapons, by the way. They don't just happen. Yeah, a lot of stuff. It's almost as if there's layers of stuff peeled off, like layers of cubes is part of what I'm seeing as an example. Just peeled upwards, mostly through within the surface or crust at the different bottom four densities, even 0 point. Upwards they go. Again, faint images are fine. Allow your unique soul purpose and talents and pre-assigned task to go for it, run wild. You got full authority, a mother lode of a green light to let it rip. Don't let any little bit of resistance ruin this profound moment in history, let alone of your life. Well, your current one. So the outer boundary in terms of the inward inner Earth movement of this expanding nested multi-layered golden globe that is essentially an organic technology. Its outer boundary has reached and gently moving through Gaia, the core of Gaia. Because there was always a lot of technologies around and in the core of Gaia. And the 144K does not tolerate such sacrilege, I guess the word would be. Collecting technologies at God knows what frequency or density within. Well, there's a lot less quantum and subquantum anomaly there, very little actually, so that helps. Again, it's the crust and atmosphere level where most of the garbage is. And occasionally allow yourself to get that glimpse of the micro, down to the, molecular, atomic, quantum, subquantum level of whatever density it turns out to be. You may get glimpses of them being just transmuted from a grey, murkiness sacred geometry to a divine, pristine, golden, and maybe a bit of magenta, goddessy, aligned, sacred geometric structures of the quantum level and subquantum level of the first four densities, reconnecting individual spaces and distance with the divine, omnipresent source. And you'll receive that vision in whatever way makes sense to your left hemisphere conscious adult mind. So to use the matrix analogy, this nested golden globe is, I guess, reinserting codes that reconnect space and distance to omnipresence of source, reconnecting it. So you can live and travel and exist in between that natural divine polarity of distance and space, or distance in between spaces, and omnipresence, which is more of our natural divine nature. See what you see as we come to a close. As there's a lot less resistance now, and see in that stunning holographic color. Zoom out, see Over in the background on the far side, as always, the minimum, your soul oversoul, I am, and at least two of the heart on either side in the background. Gaia and this divine restoration and spectacle in the foreground. We hold for Gaia and humanity and the return to love and Galactic Society, the cosmos, etc. Reconnection with the greater multi-density, multi-dimensional reality. Return. Be the witness. What do you see? As the golden globe reaches the other end of Gaia, bursting through the surface on that side of Gaia from the direction of the core of Gaia that it reached through. Transforming sublunar space as well throughout the other end, way up above the eastern seaboard, shattering. That's what I'm getting a sense of, a visceral sense of. I'd be curious if any of you got a visceral sense of shattering more than one layer of an illusion, for lack of a better term. With the occasional non-physical swarms of dark dooley bags trying to escape. Well, if you're new and you want to learn the meaning of the word advanced mass meditations, here you are. You got quite the dose of it today. And congratulations for being brave, stepping up, walking the talk, putting your money where your mouth is, and actualizing your soul purpose and its potential. All right. Zoom out. And see the moon in the distance at one end, but maintain that holographic, multi-density, multi-plane and multi-nested golden sphere, golden globe, expand outwards, reconnecting. You'll start seeing like pillars of light, dormant, all of a sudden active, going through the sphere as it relates to the sublunar space of Gaia, reconnecting more broader or macro structures back to the cosmos, because really it was to a degree it was the whole solar system, but the moon onwards, the whole sublunar area, that's where the real ball and chain was, multi-layered prison system. Clearing curses, there's one of those spheres, ever expanding within the bigger outer golden sphere, clearing curses, agreements, covenants, and crap like that. So each expanding sphere has got its own purpose. One for technology, one for entities, one for clearing some quantum anomaly, one for reconnecting, obviously. Spaces and distance with omnipresence, with kind of like natural transit portals that go between space and distance, in other words, time, and up through those portals, omnipresence. This is another example of why it, quote unquote, hasn't happened yet. Generally known as the event. So really play with these, each sacred individual purpose of each of these golden spheres, nested within each other. So you can barely see Gaia now. Focus more on these golden spheres, moving, clearing, really reconnecting us with the galaxy and the cosmos. And move it out, see it approaching the moon. It is going to be a full moon in about 3 days, where the dark ones will be ritualizing with their high hopes. But they obviously can still be a pain in the ass. And speaking for myself, my tolerance levels are down to 0 at this point. All right, see the golden the outer boundary, the outer largest, most golden sphere, reach the moon, move through the moon. All right, because there's way less quantum and subquantum anomaly and technologies and whatever crap past the sublunar or the lunar orbit. Yeah, Gaia really is quite the birthplace in more ways than one. All right, move it up. You can move it much quicker now because there's less crap, less resistance. Most of the crap and resistance is, at this point, concentrated most thickly on the surface of the lower 4 densities of Gaia. And now we're just going to go pretty fast to finish up. So just keep on zooming out, and whatever accurate or abstract image of the solar system comes to your left hemisphere brain. They both work just as well. Zoom it out. Woo, reaching Venus and Mars. Clearing technologies. Dark crystals, for example. Hidden stuff. Each nested golden sphere within sphere, clearing all remaining aspects of unpleasantness that was never going away until someone removed it. Eventually. I just like to do it now. And upwards past Mercury, past and reaching through the asteroid belt, with their minerals and crystals and sacred stones within them that have long been getting mined. Zoom out and just keep on zooming out, reaching Mercury into the sun, freeing the sun and its portal system from the constraints and partitioning of space and distance with omnipresence and reactivating. Natural connection to omnipresence and the upper densities and dimensions. They're two different models. I won't go into that now. Excuse me while I partially wreck this epic moment in history by blowing my nose. Outwards we go. Just see Jupiter there, restoring its matrix and world all the way down to and beyond the first density, 0 point, etc. Quantum and subquantum level, because this is working at the subquantum level as well. Removing, clearing any hidden stuff, technological or otherwise. And zooming out, reaching the rings of Saturn. Yeah, we're going to fix that little red wagon. Transmuting the programming of the crystals of the rings of Saturn. Reconnecting the rings of Saturn straight with Source. Time to make them work for us. Watch and witness that spectacle. And clearing in different ways by every ensuing expanding golden globe. Each golden globe having highly sophisticated sacred geometry for the most part that carries out our intent. And some of you are good or have your forte, your strengths in various aspects of energy work and black stuff, whether it's codes of various kinds, whether it's things more like curses and rituals. You know, your soul has its forte. Express that in this supportive, carefully constructed setting where you can. All right, zoom out. All the way to Neptune, moving through Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and outwards we go through a couple of other planets, because there's at least a couple of other planets, and just zoom it out now. See the golden globe just within the Kuiper belt. 1,000,001 worlds within the Kuiper belt alone. And reaching the heliosphere, which is the outermost reach of the sun. And see reconnection of everything within the Kuiper belt and heliosphere, reconnection with the divine, the rest of the cosmos, the rest of the zodiac, all these white lines appearing all of a sudden, affecting the whole galaxy. Zoom out, see the whole star system, zodiac, expand it out, see, I don't know, masses of lines is the best way I can describe it, lighting up, shooting out in all sorts of directions. Outwards we go. See the whole spiral arm of this part of the galaxy. Expanding, further out. Outwards we go, covering half the galaxy. Reconnecting, and clearing insanely old dark codes and covenants, and let alone technologies, dark worlds. Oh, it's a mess. Realigning it all throughout these multiple golden spheres. Outwards we go, covering the whole past the central sun galaxy, and feel like a massive upgrade and activation of various divine grids of this galaxy. Reaching, zooming out, zoom it out. Reaching the Andromeda galaxy, lighting it up. And outwards we go. The whole cluster of galaxy, focused on the golden, nested golden globe. Seeing things light up, activate, well outside in advance of the expanding outer golden globe. And the further out you project your consciousness, the more power your consciousness actually has. Oh, by the way, all densities, all primarily first 4 densities, hold a little bit of consciousness on that in the background. Outwards we go. Omnipresence, look up at your I am presence. Feel its omnipresence, seemingly infallible power. It just needed your consciousness from this physical now moment on this physical plane. The missing link. Visualize to actualize, and outwards we go. See all these, we've all seen those pictures of outer space, of distant galaxies, clusters of distant galaxies. That'll do for anyone having trouble seeing. Outwards we go. Zoom out and just keep on zooming out until you see this whole quadrant of the universe. You can see the cosmic central sun, the central sun of this universe. Outwards we go, golden globe, past the central sun of this universe, outside the boundary of this universe, and see the whole universe as that gorgeous holographic toroidal sphere. Pick your color, violet, indigo, dark tone, whatever. Outwards we go, outside the atmosphere. We're a bit past that now, outside the boundary of this universe on the one end, I guess. Reaching the void in between universes, reaching other universes seen as gorgeous holographic toroidal sphere with that little sparkle of their central sun in the middle. Don't need to see it perfect. Reconnecting, realigning to the divine, this multiverse that did go to hell in a handbasket. Back we go home. And when projecting your consciousness to these other universes in the form of these gorgeous holographic toroidal spheres, and then the golden globe, or globes, I guess, sweeping through them, clearing their infection from darkness, because, anyway, your intent actualizes even greater, even bigger. I've got personal experience from this, verified by a third party. That's a whole other story. Run with this. And if you want, you can see that once these universes are cleared by these nested golden spheres, that they turn magenta, which is the color we often associate with goddess/source. It's really the same thing. It's one of the main colors associated with goddess. And outwards we go. I see play with this. Now zoom out and see the whole cluster of light, like a slightly hazy ball of light that is this multiverse, which is our responsibility, by the way. And see well, actually, it'll look like a dark indigo violet massive cluster of, or ocean of toroidal spheres that is the universe. And so you're able to make out the expanding golden nested balls of spheres. Anyway, just be the witness, because again, in that instantaneous way, the image is already presented to you by your higher aspects. You see this golden ball emerge from the center of the multiverse and expanding outwards, lighting up, and I guess turning magenta all universes that it touches. So you're seeing a golden ball of light emerge. Reaching the outer periphery of the multiverse, and we're there. Well done. We're done. access point, an initial activation through Times Square right on 12:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, actualized. That was the access point. Congratulations, which I know is quite the understatement. We are done. Thank the HOD, the teams, your guides, your soul, Oversoul and I am. Look up at them, feel gratitude. We're really returning back to the cosmos. This was, like everything we've done in the past, fundamental requirements to actualize that. So a big salute to every single one of you for being the hero that you literally are. Of course, if you're a goddess, you don't need to prove anything, but you heaven help us all when you crack the whip. Anyway, so well done. Big time. I'm tired. Go lie down, go for a walk, let go. It is done. And do give a short and succinct, to the point kind of little report, especially if it coincided with anything I verbalized. But, you know, because there's so much going on at the same time, I'm only going to catch maybe 10 or 20% of it, because I'm busy guiding you as well. So well done. Yeah, can't say it enough times, and feel the love and gratitude from the Galactic Society, Inner Earth, worlds and nations. Really feel that gratitude. That's all you need to do now. Send in your short report. If you saw and did something that I didn't verbalize and didn't notice and couldn't notice because it was your sole purpose and task and not mine, that massively contributed and complemented and synergized with what I verbalized. Some of you may have done something completely different. As long as your sole purpose is wholly actualized, that's my job to make sure that happens. We got the full moon mass meditation in 3 days' time. That is clearly beautifully set up with its full potential now, and only now, well within reach. Okay, and we're really, as always, bypassing the worst of the events that the, well, at this point, physical dark ones have in mind. They all get, I don't know, miniaturized, for lack of a better term. A mountain is turned into a molehill because of what we do. That unleashes, unravels the physical, primarily white hats, to do what they know they need to do. that divine tandem partnership. Feel the salutes from all that is, physical and non-physical. Receive it. Truly receive it. As I close the physical broadcast of this mass intervention, multi-density, multi-dimensional event. Well done. Big time.